Welcome to Who Knew. We are fans of the current series of Doctor Who, and here we discuss our likes, dislikes, and insights into the modern regeneration of the show. Today's episode is The Evolution of the Daleks. It's episode 5 of season 3. Can the Doctor stop the Cult of Skaro from assimilating the human race and creating a new breed of Dalek?
Ah, you guys, get this squid off my head!
Oh my god, that's brilliant.
This episode is written by Helen Rayner, directed by James Strong. It originally aired on the 28th of April, 2007, and was watched by 6.97 million viewers. Hi, this is Eugene. Let's introduce ourselves.
Hi, this is Brian.
Hi, this is Josh.
Hello, this is Auburn.
Frank's here.
After Dalek Sec shows himself to be the new Dalek-human hybrid, the Doctor emerges from the group of captured humans and finds out that the Cult of Skaro executed an emergency temporal shift to escape from the Battle of Canary Wharf and were thrown back to this era. As a Dalek-human hybrid, Sec now can feel what it is to be human. Hatred, ambition, aggression, feelings so similar to the Daleks. The Doctor enhances a radio to blare out feedback as a distraction. He leads the others through the tunnels to an exit. Finding Tallulah along the way, the other Daleks speculate about Dalek Sec's fitness to lead them.
I like that it's the Cult of Skaro.
Me too.
Yeah, I do kind of like the fact that this has got a little through line with previous Daleks and is a good justification of why there are Daleks, because there's not supposed to be any Daleks anymore. I also kind of like how the Doctor realizes right away that the temporal shift probably greatly weakened them.
Yes.
And that's why they're in this state, and they have to resort to working with what they're working with.
You know, his line and kind of like, oh, how the mighty have fallen, how they're so pitiful now. And I remember in Doomsday when they were battling the Cybermen, and it's like, only one of you? Only one Dalek's needed kind of attitude.
Right.
They were like more or less maybe at their peak, and then now they're a little diminished from that strength. Again, I like that the other 3 members besides Dalek Sec they're giving looks to each other. And almost I project onto that. Is anybody listening? Coast is clear. Let's continue colluding.
What do you think of Dalek Sec? I stalk all the way around. I stalk back.
The fact that they took the time to do that all the way back, all the way forward.
It's great.
Yeah.
I do have to say, though, the radio is weak.
It's also reversed in one shot.
Yeah. But that's a weak way to escape.
Yeah.
I thought they were going somewhere else with that. I thought they were going to play music and he was going to have an emotional reaction and it was going to
I was kind of hoping that too.
have something going on with that.
That'd been
And that
interesting.
would have been a device used to get them out of the situation.
And while that's going on, the other 3 Daleks are just so freaked out by it, their heads are just spinning, and you can escape.
Or they're feeling feelings like in Robotech.
Exactly what I was thinking. Especially when Brian said all the other Daleks are freaking out at their emotion.
Like, what is this feeling?
I'm Dalek Dana.
I'm Exodor.
The emotions that he first feels and connects with are the negative emotions, the hate, the aggression, even ambition. So that's what he feels is humanity, and that's definitely part of it. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering, I think later on, then he starts feeling more of the other emotions, but they're just the primal emotions that are just so strong that he connects to right away.
It's almost like for a Dalek, that's their comfort emotions. So they might feel that first. And the other emotions they're not familiar with, it might take them a long time to recognize they're feeling those as well. But they might instantly know what anger feels like. So that's what he feels right away. But then later on, he's like, wait, what else am I feeling?
And the Daleks, to me, always had emotions. They always say they're emotionless, but they were always anger and hate.
Yeah, negative emotions.
They were the Cybermen, which seemed a lot colder.
Yeah.
Do they say that the Daleks are supposed to be emotionless, or that the Daleks got rid of positive emotions and they always have rage?
Oh, okay.
They always have rage. They always have anger. He left the negative emotions in.
Okay.
Yeah, there was one where that's why somebody says that's why you scream, because of all the rage or something.
It's the Cybermen that they say remove all emotion.
Yeah.
And the Daleks leave only negative emotions.
Yeah, but in this episode, the Doctor said that, so that's why it's...
Yeah, he did say that.
It's like, Vulcans have no emotions. They always have emotions.
Right.
Data has no emotions. Data has emotions throughout the whole show. Because how do you write that? How do you act that? Mm-hmm. So, you just kind of accept it.
Well, they always say Vulcans have emotions, they just have learned to suppress them.
And I guess the same way with the Daleks, not very well, it comes out in other ways.
And when they meet Tallulah, her first question, is, well, what happened to Laszlo? She's being pulled across with everybody else.
Right.
So I like that. She's still really, she down deep loves him.
Yeah.
But this is one of those examples that I was saying where she's not that strong a character in actuality, because they just sent her away to get out of the tunnels. And the next time we see her, they're just running past and get picked, and they pick her up along the way. She's not advancing the plot in any way, and she should have. I think they really should have written her as that. She was such an important character to the story.
Yeah, they could have. I think she just ended up being kind of an audience conduit.
And you also love the fact that the Daleks get an awesome choral theme.
Yeah, that was great.
They brought that back.
Yeah. But I just love that they have this male choir, and it just sounds so relentless
and militaristic.
Is it the first time we heard it?
No, that was in Doomsday as well, and I don't know if it was in Dalek.
I don't know if it was in Dalek, but it was in
Doomsday.
It was in season 1 at the end, because the Daleks come back.
Yes, it was definitely in the Parting of the Ways.
And it's with the big fleet.
But I do think this was more. It seemed bigger than in the past episode.
Maybe because you weren't paying attention to the plot and you could focus on the music.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe
that's a
because
fact.
the
I'm not- that's not a joke.
these visuals weren't so big, whereas in the other episode from before, with all the Daleks coming in, millions of Daleks, it probably matched the music a little more.
Yeah.
At Hooverville, the Doctor tells Solomon to take everyone and run because the Daleks are coming. Solomon says there is nowhere else they can go and thinks that he can reason with them. The pigs attack, herding everyone towards the center of the encampment as the Daleks attack from overhead.
I see what you did there. Pigs attack, hurting them. Got it.
Yeah. Solomon tries to appeal to their compassion, but is killed by the Dalek. It is about to exterminate the Doctor, but Sec orders the Doctor brought back to the tower instead. As they leave, the Doctor slips Martha the psychic paper.
I do think it's interesting that Solomon has built like this little Hooverville army with no funding and
Like, there's clearly a shack that is the armory.
yeah.
What?
Well, and the best thing that they can do is defend themselves instead of, well, maybe we
Rise up?
barge down Wall Street. Yeah, take some of that back. But yeah, I'm starting to see the seams of where like the story isn't
As strong.
as strong. Yeah. And I also like, as Frank was saying, that they kind of set up the question of what does it mean to be human in that first kind of exchange between Dalek Sec and the Doctor about like emotions, and it would have been nice to get a better payoff by the end of like a more definitive, like the Doctor's view of humanity winning out over the Daleks' view of humanity, but it doesn't quite resolve that cleanly. But yeah, it was a good question to start the episode with.
I didn't feel like the Doctor did much that was clever in this episode. Like even when he jumped out and said, "Don't kill them, kill me," that's not a bad piece of storytelling, but it's a very used and straightforward.
But if you think about it sequentially, they kill Solomon and the Doctor jumps out and says, all right, fine, kill me next. 99 times out of 100, if you're not in a Doctor Who episode, they kill him.
And then they kill
everybody else.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing anything to save anybody. He was just saying, all right, now kill me.
There was no bargain. Him offering that, his sacrifice, was bargaining with beings that he knows don't bargain.
It was too convenient, because that situation where the Doctor is sacrificing himself is usually reserved for the third act of whatever thing we're doing.
Yeah.
And it felt weird to have this almost as the opening.
Yeah. It was put there so Sec would stop them in the script.
Yes.
But he had no idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sequentially, he had no idea that was going to happen.
So, like, script-wise, it works in the pages and moments that it needs
But
to.
logically, it falls
logically,
flat.
It was not working.
I will go back earlier to Solomon's speech. I didn't like Solomon's speech in the first episode. And the funny thing is I do kind of like Solomon's speech here. He's appealing to good decency and justice and just, being civil. It's a good speech to the wrong audience.
Because he doesn't know.
He doesn't know any better.
Right.
I almost would have rather have seen him start to give the speech and then they just kill him.
Almost, yes. Yeah.
Well, the Doctor told him he can't reason with them. And what did he say? The South Park line?
Yeah, yeah.
You have to respect my authority.
All right.
Literally, he said, you have to respect my
I
authority.
know. Well, I'm sorry. All I could think of was, they're coming right for us.
But yeah, I just felt the Dalek was listening too long. Like, why would he even be?
Why are they wasting their time?
Yeah.
But in these episodes, everything feels like padding.
It does feel like padding. It really does feel like
Well,
padding.
maybe that particular Dalek was priming its weapon so that it could shoot Solomon for Alburn's favorite effect.
That was a good effect. And the payoff later is even better.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wrote
Yeah.
that down too.
Yeah.
All the pigs herding everybody together reminded me of like the winged monkeys with Dorothy. Oh, something about it just reminded me with the mask, they're just pushing them, and just that's what came to my mind.
I see that. When the Doctor arrives at the Empire State Building, he yells at Dalek Sec about killing defenseless people, but Dalek Sec cuts him off, saying that the deaths were wrong and even seems to regret Solomon's death. He explains that the Daleks tried to grow more of their own kind but failed. Dalek Sec shows the Doctor some of the 1,000 humans they have in storage, near death and with their minds wiped. They are the last stage of the final experiment. A powerful solar flare is about to hit the Earth, and they plan to harness the gamma radiation using a conductor attached to the mast of the Empire State Building. The radiation will merge Dalek Sec's DNA with the human bodies.
Dalek DNA is spiky. That's cool.
I like the idea that since he's half human, he's starting to understand humanity and compassion and respect courage and things like that. But you're taking the personality of the Dalek Sec and Diagoras, who was not a good person. So even though he's getting the DNA of a human, that human was not a good person. So he's really just made up of these two beings.
Yeah, but in math, 2 negatives make a positive.
Okay, then.
Problem solved.
But
It makes as much sense as anything else.
I mean, I kind of felt that it wasn't enough of a progression.
Yeah, I agree.
Here's my answer to that. Just because I do that.
Because of the temporal shift.
What Sec had said is that the humans are the great survivors, and that aspect is what they really need. That survival aspect, which is what Diagoras has. That survival aspect. He's ambitious and power hungry. I don't know how evil he is. Mm-hmm. So it could be that those ambitions and stuff Sec recognizes, and it's already part of who Sec is. So these other parts that are more human still are the ones that he's like, oh, this we can utilize. This is the stuff we need. This is the stuff that makes humans a survivor race.
I get it. I mean,
I'm making this up as I go along. We're just trying to go.
It makes sense, and
that
that sounds in line with even what was written. I only just thought of it today. So you get two bad guys, you put them together, and they kind of be good.
But remember, in the last episode, the Daleks are psychically linking to Diagoras and putting images and thoughts in his head.
All right.
I'm just trying to. I don't know why. But
A good idea that could have been written better.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And, usually in these two-parters, the first part is all the exposition and the setup. But as soon as Solomon dies, they get the Doctor. And then we have more exposition with Dalek Sec, the new human hybrid. And I'm like, usually the second episode is more action-packed. This is very bizarre.
And now all of a sudden there's a gigantic solar flare on its way to Earth.
Which was never mentioned in the first episode.
Wow, convenient.
True, but they did have a time frame in the first episode. Things say, no, you have to do this tonight. No, we have these things.
Yes,
as
but I
planned.
think it should have. We should have.
Given that piece of
But
information.
give some more
Something.
information on.
We should have been, yeah. But I also just sort of took it as, because I'm an avid TV watcher, like, oh, the Doomsday device has to go off tonight. But I definitely took it as he's taking orders from the Daleks.
But to me, we already know about the Doomsday device, and now all of a sudden we're getting this extra thing too. The final experiments going on. This is going to happen.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
I just in the last episode, I took it as they're telling him it's happening now.
Okay. It would have been nice while, Dalek Khan was, wistfully looking over the cityscape of New York as Daleks do, if he had just casually looked up and said, the event is coming. Something.
Going back to our last episode, talking about when he's reminiscing with Solomon Daggers. Why would? Yeah, it wouldn't have been that Dalek. It wouldn't have been that Dalek. It would have been Dalek Sec, story wise, like you were saying. Like,
Right.
Like, it would have made okay sense for Dalek Sec to be reminiscing about the war.
Yes.
Because he's the most changed.
Because he's the one trying to think outside the box.
Yes, because later on we would have earned that reminiscy kind of moment.
Right.
And Khan is very Dalek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we don't know if that's Dalek Khan. We like to think it is. But
Because each
the
Dalek does have a little...
The other three Daleks are pure Daleks.
But they, Jast and Dalek Khan, all have a little emblem underneath the eye stalk, so to differentiate which one's which. But in production, I think they sometimes just take whatever Dalek they have at that time, they'll change the voice, so that emblem's not always true to who the voice and entity is that's speaking for the Dalek.
As we just watched it now, we really have to throw that out completely, because the Dalek that is standing behind the human Dalek Sec while they're looking at the attack on Central Park, it has the Dalek Khan line, which I think is the one on top.
No, that should be I think Khan's bottom.
Okay, so it has the line on the bottom, and then you cut to the Dalek attacking and shooting Solomon, and the line is on the bottom. So the prop Dalek, the hero Dalek that they used for both those shots is the same Dalek. And I don't blame them, because what a nightmare.
The only way I know that the Dalek behind Dalek Sec, the human hybrid, is Dalek Thay is because the backplating is removed and it's just a gray.
And that's they?
Because they made a toy of that.
But the close-up of the front is the casing of Dalek Khan.
And the back plating is what they put on top of the mast.
For the Dalek,
Which is cool. I wish they had played that up a little bit more.
And shown them removing it off of Dalek Thay.
Yeah, or something. It's just like all we got was a quick little shot.
They should have shown them removing, and then he screams.
It's cold.
Nicholas Briggs, who was the voice of the Daleks, did change his voice for each one. So each one's unique.
Yes.
My ear's not great enough for sometimes it's like, well, which one's this?
Because even he said it was hard to differentiate them between higher, lower, and just regular.
Right. So, I mean, but I think he did a really good job. It just, I don't know with the part of the editing and stuff, I couldn't identify all the time. And then during this episode, I gave up trying to figure out which one was which. But Khan does have the lowest register voice.
Yeah. I think you could follow it through their voices.
Oh, and then there's the Frankenstein reference with all the bodies and the little gurneys that are up top.
Oh, that's right.
It's just weird. It's like...
Yeah, just hanging there?
Yeah.
On that, they had mentioned that there are thousands.
Yeah.
Or at least over 1,000.
I'm like, that's a lot.
That they have in other places.
Yeah.
Doesn't even seem rooms. It seems different
Places.
buildings.
Where was that room that we saw supposed to be?
Empire State Building?
In the base. Somewhere in the basement or bottom, because the doctor did say the Empire State Building's above us. So it's part of it, but part of the lower part or basement.
But you know that New York has entire cities underneath it all the time.
Yeah, it's where the Morlocks live.
Exactly.
And Chud.
That's right.
Martha deduces the doctor wants her to go to the Empire State Building to stop the conductor. With the help of the psychic paper, Martha and her companions, Frank and Tallulah, are allowed access. Martha and Tallulah take a moment to talk about their love lives. Martha finds blueprints of the building and notices the addition of Dalekanium on the mast. And Martha has powers of deduction greater than Sherlock Holmes.
It's probably because the doctor projected a message on the psychic paper.
No, because she looked at it.
We only see blank.
That scene was deleted.
But we discussed this in other episodes, like Tooth and Claw. It's who's ever holding it sees what they want to see.
They put it into canon in this one. It shows people what I want them to see. Martha says that.
As long as you're holding it.
The psychic paper is contradictory in how it works. But maybe it works both ways.
Yeah, I also expected something a lot more clever with the psychic paper when he gave it to her. I thought like, oh, he's going to send her a message or it's going to do something new that we haven't seen before. And it was just like some off-screen reference that they got into the building because of the psychic paper. And she just sort of kind of remembered. Like, she didn't look at it and be like, oh, I know what it is. She obviously was confused.
Well, she needed time to figure it out.
And we don't see that. That's the problem.
And,
she figured it out. It's all, but we hear about it after it happened.
Yeah. Because usually we see the psychic paper working.
Yeah.
Why don't you just cut the whole...
Yeah.
Cut the elevator bit. Like, why do we have to see... What did we find out in the elevator?
Psychic paper works.
No, but was that the only thing? There's no other piece of information that we find out?
No.
The real purpose is for that scene is to find out how they got in, show how they got in, get rid of that scene, and then they end up where they're supposed to go.
I think instead of using the psychic paper as a tool to get them in, it would have been better to have the doctor say something to Martha that clued her where she needed to go next.
Yeah.
And and just have her go there. Yeah, it would have been much more effective to have the doctor come up with something witty in the moment to direct her to the top floor.
But it really was to show Martha's brains.
Her capabilities.
Yes.
Martha, being the companion of this current series, is talking to Tallulah, which is like the character introduced in this particular episode. And usually what we've had before is where Rose will talk to somebody, the common character.
Right.
And in this instance, I want to like it, but it feels forced.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It does, doesn't it?
I do like the line though, where she does complain something about the doctor, and then Toulouse says,
You want to have a sad contest?
"Yeah, if you don't want to
Oh,
sad
right.
contest me, like, yeah, my boyfriend I was in love with just turned into a pig guy."
And the overall
but
thing,
no,
it doesn't
it
work.
definitely like just took a left hand.
Yeah.
turn.
Okay, you know what it is? It's because we're still not learning anything new about Martha. She's saying the same
That's true.
character trait.
I was gonna continue with that.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, but I'm glad you agree because like it's correct. You're correct. We're not learning anything new. We're regurgitating like he had this friend. He was alone, and I'm stuck in the middle somewhere.
Yeah,
like,
I like
move
him.
forward.
I want him to like me. We get it.
Yeah.
It made sense.
And
but
again-
now we need a little bit more depth,
Yeah.
and we're not getting it in this episode.
There was a couple moments where he sort of ignored her feelings, and she looked a little lovelorn.
Talking about the doctor, or
where he
Oh, this is why we never stop for a hug?
yeah. So there's a little bit of that, and then that's sort of maybe explaining that.
But what Martha added was her realization that it's not her because the doctor doesn't see her. So that was the little bit of information that she added
All right.
to all of this.
I think
He's reminiscing, he's looking and he's seeing Rose and he's not seeing me. He doesn't recognize me as somebody different.
Yeah.
Looking at it this time, I think the main thing is they really stop looking at the blueprints and look at each other and are having that conversation rather than having that conversation and still really just look at all the details of the blueprints. They stop to have the conversation.
Why couldn't they have had that conversation in the elevator on the ride up?
Yeah,
that would have made more sense.
You know?
Yeah, totally could have done that.
Some time to
Because
kill.
Frank was there and you don't talk about it with guys.
Oh, maybe.
Well, but with Frank, he would understand.
he's sensitive.
Would have been a nice moment, to get more character from Frank, too.
True. Tag at the end of the scene. The simultaneous looking at each other and saying, Dalekanium! Oh, this is written for a 9-year-old.
These things that we're complaining about, we've seen them done well in other episodes. And I think that's the reason why they're highlighted specifically in these 2 episodes is because the script was going, this is the point where you need to have this scene. This is the point where you need the exposition scene. This is the point where you need this. And it just feels like a road sign rather than organically happening.
Yeah, it almost feels like the plot of the episode is a backdrop for these other things they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Say a little bit. Well, you know what?
But the things they wanted to say and do don't add up to much.
It sounds like you're saying it's formulated.
Yeah.
Here's the outline of a Doctor Who episode.
Yeah.
And
Stick
that's
in
it.
the individual episode, details here.
Yeah, it's like a Mad Lib script. And that was it.
Give me a noun. Dalekanium.
Well, and I think it is interesting so soon. Like for me, it feels like it's been a while since Doomsday and Army of Ghosts. But in the Doctor Who world, it hasn't been that long, and already we're bringing back like a Dalek 2-parter with the Cult of Skaro, where it seems like this should have been later in the season or maybe held off till next season. Like it's a lot of Dalek right away. Like, and that makes me wonder if something happened where we need a quick 2-parter. Let's make it about the Daleks because
I think you're absolutely right because I think like we keep reiterating about how this season's more for kids. That it got popular. We don't have Rose anymore, but now everybody's watching Doctor Who. Well, at least the demographic. And what are we going to do for this season? And they get it all planned out, and it's just there, and it's immovable, and definitely feels pre-planned.
Maybe just a little early for this season by maybe 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah, but if the Daleks they're usually like the season closer, like they're the big bad that that the Doctor has fought with before, so we know that they're supposed to be intimidating.
But I like that they reference something that's still in our memory.
Yeah.
That hasn't been too long.
Yeah.
So we know who. We don't have to go. Who's
but it's
the
become
cult
a weak
again, or
episode.
anything. Right.
Like, so is it good to have them so quickly?
So the interesting thing about that is that Stephen Moffat was supposed to write these two-parters, but then he was working on Jekyll, the TV series, and so he offered to do the Dr. Light episode, which became Blink.
Oh.
So I'm good.
Yeah.
The Doctor is shocked when Dalek Sec tells him that their creator was wrong when he created the Daleks. The lack of emotions makes them weaker than their enemies. He asks the Doctor to help him change the new Dalek race to become even more human. After the solar flare awakens the new Daleks, he wants the Doctor to use the TARDIS to take them to another world where they can start over. The other Daleks hear this and disagree. Daleks are supreme.
When he says, no, the creator was wrong. And the Doctor is, what? He's almost speechless. That to me is the most Doctor Who moment of this two-parter. And if you know Doctor Who, you know who the creator is. You know what that means. And so for a Dalek to say the creator was wrong, the Doctor would react with shock. And also,
It's like sacrilegious for a Dalek to say that.
yes, but also, and that's kind of how he
Blaspheme.
right. But it also, in that instant, also opens the Doctor up to possibilities. A Dalek just said that their creator was wrong. What does that mean? You could boil these two episodes down and just give me that moment.
And again, the Daleks are looking at each other while Dalek Sec is going on and on.
Slowly turn of the eye stalk.
In my mind, I subtitled that as now, not yet. Now, not yet. Okay, now.
But one of the Daleks is looking at the Doctor while he's talking
Yeah.
to Sec. And you can see through the eye stalk the point of view, so he's zooming in on it. When the Doctor's saying about, he knows that one man in one particular place can change the course of history. I'm not sure how to take that either as the Daleks thinking, as a warning, this guy's going to change something, or giving the Dalek the idea, I can change history.
No, I think it's the first one. I know what you're saying, but I don't think a Dalek has that much individual.
Or they're thinking this is like, he can change it. I'm thinking it's like, he can change this. We will no longer be Daleks. And that's the whole thing. Giving them going, wait a minute, we can switch this around. We are the Daleks. We can change this and stay Daleks.
I think it's the Doctor is pointing out a threat. One man or one person, whatever, one being can change things.
Meaning Sec.
Meaning Sec. And then they're like, he's right. We have to
Stop it. Gotcha. I can see that.
I mean, I like what the Doctor's saying. And I really, really liked it back in 1967 when Kirk says it to goateed Spock in Mirror, Mirror. But I like it here, too. Now, the Doctor's beginning to have some hope, and he's kind of injecting some hope into the proceedings. And there was always that one shot where it was like, why are you showing us the Dalek POV at that point?
I think that pays off later on. We'll get to it.
Okay.
I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was weird, but you bringing it up, that's probably what it meant. Don't think that was the best choice. Or it needed another shot. It needed a reaction shot of the Dalek, maybe kind of looking down or doing something so you get a sense of...
How to interpret it.
Yeah,
What does it
you
mean?
didn't interpret it as the Dalek's listening.
And I still think the Dalek was listening.
I agree with you. I just don't think visually...
It's conveyed.
Correct. Conveyed.
When I'm watching this episode again, it's like, that's why it's there. Thank you, Frank. There are other times when you see the Doctor in the eye stalk, and that's fine. I've never had a problem with one. This one just, to me, just came out of the blue.
Literally.
And basically, when you have someone react to something someone says, they have to have the reaction after someone says it. This reaction was during it, and I think that's why it didn't really link up visually.
During the conversation and the Doctor finding out what Sec wants to do with it, he says, well, there's no room on Earth for another race, which... But then it's Dalek Sec's idea is you can use the TARDIS to take us to another planet. And how many times has the Doctor offered a race to do that? The Rachnos and all those. Right. It's like, but Sec comes up with that idea.
He would never think to offer that to a Dalek. But when Dalek Sec does offer it, he'll do it.
Well, because it's not a Dalek anymore. It's obvious.
It's a new species.
That's why he's not offering it. I still do love the fact that this no second chances, I'm that sort of man Doctor does do it. That is the most Doctor Who of Doctor Who things. And it's in this episode.
Yeah, and it's a shame that moment is sort of forgotten and lost amongst the other stuff that you're just...
Totally agree.
We were all just mentioning.
The Doctor and Sec create a gene solution that they administer to the human shells, but the other Daleks interfere and change the genes to be 100% Dalek. They no longer see Dalek Sec as a true Dalek, and they order the pigs to restrain him. The Doctor and Laszlo escape and head up, where they reunite with Martha, Tallulah, and Frank.
And that's where I think the POV is where they changed and said Sec is no longer a true Dalek. And he's changing who and what we are. We have to stop Sec. He's no longer one of us.
My only problem with that is we've seen hints of that previous in the episode.
Right, but I think this was the final, and they said, we got to change this. And so that's when they go and alter all the chemical solutions that they were making, and the gene select things.
I can see that.
Because they were still disliking what's going on, but they're a Dalek and they must follow orders from their leader.
Yes.
And I think this part, I think that's what the POV was meant to show. Going, this is the point, they're hearing this and they're seeing we will no longer be Daleks, and they're changing it. This he's gone so far over.
It's like they needed that moment of damnation or whatever so that they can be okay with mutinying.
Right.
But one thing that did happen was Laszlo, in all this, turning and saying to the Doctor, there's the lift. No, American boy.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's the elevator.
Yeah. They've done that before, though. I can't remember where.
Yeah,
whether...
every once in a while. But there was one time when they actually said cell phone instead of mobile.
Mobile.
Yeah.
And Captain Jack says frickin', and that's Americanism.
Yeah.
But then
They're usually good on it.
But he's an American actor.
That's weird.
Playing an American.
I feel that Doctor Who has done their research before, and it feels like these two episodes, the research is not there.
It isn't.
No, I agree with you, but
especially since they took all this time to have the vernacular of the day,
Right.
And they took all this effort to have them speak the way they're supposed to.
Somebody should have caught
Yes.
That was a good sequence, except for the lift thing. But the sound design and everything in the sequence, like it all kind of had a rhythm where,
where it dings.
you hear the elevator. But yeah, who pushed the button? Like, why
is it
even
showing
coming
up?
back?
Right.
It's just who? Yeah.
The Doctor climbs up to the mast to remove the Dalekanium while the others prepare to fight the pigs that are coming up in the elevator. Laszlo collapses, because, pig hybrids only live a few weeks. Martha has an idea to use the lightning from the storm. Oh yeah, a lightning storm is happening too. They build a conduit of metal so that when the lightning hits, it will zap the elevator. Meanwhile, the Doctor is able to remove one of the panels, but then drops his sonic screwdriver. He climbs higher to place himself above the panels. Lightning strikes at the same time the gamma radiation hits the clock tower. The Earth. The lightning travels through the makeshift pipe conduit and hits the elevator just as it opens. The smell of bacon fills the room.
I was waiting for that line.
Yes, the wheels are coming off this podcast.
So this is the convenience scene.
Very convenient.
Oh, goodness
Oh
me.
my gosh. At this point, there's certain lighting on Laszlo that his tusks or teeth, to me, look like onion shoots.
Okay.
All right. I like the idea of Laszlo, story-wise, dying because of his lifespan.
Really?
I like that it happened. I don't like that it was just him. Because they mentioned early on they have a short lifespan. Now, if he's only half a pig, he should live longer than the other pigs.
Yeah, but the other pigs are newer.
We don't know that.
Oh, but we can assume.
We can assume so, yeah. But all of them are newer. I think it would have been much more effective to show some of them starting to die off.
Yes.
That's true.
And then, so you kind of, as opposed to the one guy that we all care about.
Okay, yeah.
Piggybacking off of what you said.
You didn't just say that.
The lightning storm, that's our ticking clock. It should have been Laszlo's lifespan to be the ticking clock. That would have been more effective.
If we just saw it build, like the two plot lines are going together. So there's the lightning plot line you were saying, that's the ticking clock, but also Laszlo. So you got two things sort of going on. So it's this tragic story, kind of like, what was the gal's name in the was the Unquiet Dead?
Oh, Gwyneth.
Like Gwyneth's tragic story. You saw a very progression of her and the way she felt about her world and the people that she was with. The same thing could have happened here while this crazy Doctor Who story was happening. And they set it up to be that way because that was the opening of the first episode.
And then they just didn't follow through.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about Laszlo's limited lifespan is that then it kind of destroyed in the first episode where Frank said that where are all the bodies, like there would be bodies. And then, like, the thing should have been people disappearing, like the newspaper that Martha found.
Yeah.
But the headline should have been pig body discovered. Like, what's going
What's
on
the
with
mystery?
this?
What's killing
Yeah,
the
what's
pigs
that mystery?
without even-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, again, it's one of those things that we've, complained about the writing, but it's not even consistent within its
Yeah.
own world.
Yeah.
And that's what hurts suspending disbelief, because you can suspend your disbelief
Yeah.
for a lot of things as long as you stay consistent. But when you start going, like, every direction,
It doesn't
then
hold
it
up.
breaks apart. Yeah.
And all these small examples build up.
Apart, yeah.
Even all the complaints that we have, I can think of 100 production issues.
Sure. Yeah.
To
absolutely.
legitimize why they did A, B, or C.
Right.
But we're examining our episode. We want to talk about it. So.
Right, exactly.
We're armchair warriors. Whatever.
Yes.
The gamma radiation passes through the Doctor and awakens the new 100% Dalek, yet 100% human-looking human Daleks.
Thank you.
They arm themselves. Martha finds the Sonic, and they all make their way to Tallulah's theater.
So this is where they now have woken up and we've had the Frankenstein moment.
Yes. And
They're alive.
they're alive, and they look just the same.
I know, you have to be green with gamma radiation.
Something. Yeah.
Something.
I agree.
One eye, maybe, with a little tentacle goatee. I don't know.
Because they have that DNA in them, and look what happened to Sec with his
Yeah.
little head change with the
Something.
merger.
I do like the translation of the Dalek weaponry to, like, a hand
a Tommy gun?
weapon. Yes. That I thought was pretty cool. I like the egg beater.
So that was more of a merger than I think Sec was.
Dalek Thay, Dalek Jast, and the hybrids follow and bring a chained sect to the stage. When they shoot at the Doctor, Sec jumps in front of the beam and dies. When they order the hybrids to open fire on the Doctor, the hybrids don't shoot. When the gamma radiation passed through the Doctor, some of his individuality was transferred. Dalek ex machina.
Oh,
But
no.
Wait, what? I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When the gamma radiation somehow converted into lightning or whatever, went down the building to Frankenstein all the hybrids. They went through the Dalekanium, which pulled it in, and then it transferred through the Doctor.
Who was holding
So it's picking
on.
up some of the Time Lord DNA.
And that's what woke them up.
No, well, not the Doctor,
no.
but
The gamma radiation,
the
the
lightning
energy.
strike and the gamma, yes, woke them up.
So, and then they didn't shoot the Doctor because of that?
Because
Because-
the Doctor was holding on to the mast.
Right.
And when the lightning passed through him.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah, some piece of him went into them so that when they were told to shoot the Doctor, they didn't want to.
Yeah.
All right.
I know.
And Doctor said, I'm going to go higher on the mast so that it'll pass through me
Oh, did he do
and
that on
then
purpose?
give them a little bit more
Yeah, I think so.
humanity. Because when he came down, he said, it had to pass through me. And Martha's going, what does that mean? Come with me. We're going to the theater.
I'm not going to tell you now because it's not the part. We have to see the plot.
It's kind of like The Simpsons. We have to go. I have to tell you something important.
I mean, I just on a base level, I have a problem with him getting struck by that much lightning. I don't care how many hearts he has.
There's actually precedent.
Is there?
Yeah, he's been hit by lightning a number of times. Or
Like Benjamin Franklin, he said in the episode
and
of Martha
Jones.
with
That's the
Jones.
first one.
Yeah.
I did.
Do you have some of those?
Yep. Real quick. The Terror of the Zygons and World War III, Genesis of the Daleks, The Idiot's Lantern.
Oh, the Idiot's Lantern. Come on. He was up on the radio tower when that all
Yeah,
hit.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right.
We got our cool effect with the single eye socket in the skull
That was awesome. Loved
when
it.
Dalek Sec sacrificed himself.
Yeah.
Little X-ray vision.
So that was worth it.
You got the
That was worth
Cyclops
it.
Skull was
Whole
awesome.
episode was worth it. New Who viewer.
In the earlier episode, he's standing in Central Park saying, just shoot me, just shoot me, just
This
shoot
episode,
me.
yeah.
And they go to shoot him. No, don't shoot him. In this episode, shoot him. No. It's just like,
I believe it was, why? Why?
just again, it was just like, they're just not earning it to me.
I did like the iconic look of the dead doctor kind of line on the top.
Yeah.
I mean, that composite shot was an iconic look. I like that.
Yeah.
What did you think of Martha bringing up the proverbial needle in the haystack of the screwdriver that fell off the Empire State
They
Building?
could have showed that too.
Well, how about she couldn't? How about maybe he lost it? So it fell off the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
So it could have fallen and not off the building.
It wasn't off the building because even the spire is in the
Yeah,
center. So it would have
I
fallen
get
right
it.
there.
It fell through the rafters, this, that, and the other. But
They should have showed it.
The only reason why I'm not arguing with you, the only reason why I'm disagreeing with that is because I kind of like the fact that the Doctor doesn't find his screwdriver. Somebody else, Martha, goes, "Oh my gosh, it's a screwdriver!"
Right.
Grabs it and brings it to him. And frankly, that's your problem with what's going on?
No.
But you know what I mean?
It's just one thing after another.
I
Yes.
somehow never really put this together. It's cold up there, so his fingers are numb and he'd lose his grip. That's what
there
he
you go.
said
That's
early
why.
on.
Oh, it all
That's
comes
why he
back.
dropped the Sonic.
So it couldn't be
So
Sonic.
they should have cut down to that worker down on the ground looking up at the building. I was like, yeah, it was.
with a Sonic that just skewered him in his eye.
He's like, I should have worn gloves.
Maybe.
I'd buy that for $1.
That's all I got from this day's work.
The Daleks begin to kill the hybrids, and the hybrids return fire on them, destroying Faye and Jast. Deeming the hybrids a failure, Dalek Khan sends an auto-destruct signal, killing them. Which, of course, he doesn't send the auto-destruct signal before they kill Faye and Jast.
Yeah.
Only after.
Oh, there's so many things in that little bit of time. Yes, the auto or the self-destruct inside the hybrids, Dalek weaponry like that they've given them, that it's able to be used
Against them?
Like, I mean, you need to kill 2 Daleks. This is what we got to do.
Yeah.
So there's only one left. I get it. But yeah.
But at least the Dalek weaponry didn't kill them in one shot.
Right.
I did
yes.
appreciate that. It like weakened their shields and then it got through.
But
as soon
Khan
as
is
they
watching this
yeah.
whole thing going, well, let's see how this turns out.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't like that. Now I'm going to kill them. It just killed them.
Yeah. Like, I'm the last of the last 3 left. Let's see. Oh, last 2 left. Oh, I'll be the last one. Okay. That's
Yeah.
enough.
And I see that he figures the Daleks can handle it. It's like, you have 2 Daleks there. They should be able to handle this. So I don't think he was thinking that way. But
Sure.
Another bad decision in an episode of bad decisions.
But then he just kills all of the human Dalek hybrids. And you just see the Doctor's face go, Gone! Gone! Sorry.
No, thank you. I've been trying to find a way to put that in here for the last 2 episodes.
See, Dalek Khan tasks him.
Oh, okay, that was good.
You know what those gloves were made out of? Rich Corinthian leather.
Corinthian leather.
The Doctor goes back to confront Dalek Khan and offers to help him rather than cause another genocide. Instead, Dalek Khan initiates another emergency temporal shift and disappears.
You pesky Daleks, you.
Martha and Tallulah arrive with a dying Laszlo. The Doctor uses the Dalek lab to save Laszlo's life, but not his looks. Frank talks to the tenants of Hooverville to allow Laszlo to live with them. Martha and the Doctor head to the TARDIS and wonder when they will see Dalek Khan again.
The further adventures of Laszlo can be read in Laszlo Pig Private Dick.
Followed up by Tallulah and Laszlo paint the town red with blood. Pig's blood. Laszlo was supposed to die in the original version
really?
of this story.
I don't mind that part.
Yeah. It just feels a little, again, convenient that the Doctor can save this one guy as opposed to all of them.
That happens pretty often, though.
Yeah, but in an episode of convenience...
No, it would have been
yeah.
much better if, like I said, like we started to see the pigs dying off, and there's this ticking
Yes.
clock with Laszlo, and with his last dying breath,
Yep.
saves them in whatever moment. You know, you guys go.
Yep.
I'm gonna die in 5 minutes anyway.
Give me the grenades.
I love you, Tallulah. Oink.
You always were, Soul Gorman. I totally agree with you. And in fact, I kind of think Laszlo should have died. It was just a little too convenient. But we do have the Doctor going in this episode. So many people have died. Not one more death. Right. It's the sequel to Look, Rose, just once, everybody lives.
Again, yes. Like we were talking earlier, if there was no point in this story where I thought Laszlo was not going to live, there should have been indications that he is terminal. And then by the time we get to this moment,
Well,
it would have...
he does start to kind of...
Yeah, but at that point, I didn't believe it. You know what I mean? It's too late in the story for me to buy that he's going to die.
I mean, they should have...
It's too late. It's too quick.
At some point, you start seeing pig slaves starting to die
No,
off
I'm
and
agreeing with you.
collapse.
That would have made this
really
moment better.
Well, and I know, Brian, you discovered Hoovervilles with this episode. Have you done more research after watching it? Like, I don't think the Hooverville in Central Park is still there today.
Oh,
nor
no,
was it
they all went away.
right. Nor was it still there probably long after this time period.
I think this Hooverville went away in 33.
33.
So he's got 3 years of living under the radar.
I also can't think about this in reality. It's like, where are you going to go?
Yeah, seriously.
You know, sir.
Follow the circus? I don't know.
Well,
Although
if he's in the theater.
You know, he could run across this lovely British couple that suddenly start living in New York City, and she starts to write books. They would let him in and understand and be okay with it.
Plus, plastic surgery starts soon.
Oh, well, he was in the war.
Right? I mean, it's like,
I'll tell you.
stuff they could do.
He wears a fedora, puts up the collar of his trench coat, and he's Laszlo something, Private Dick.
I only work at night.
Yeah, he only works at night. If Ben Grimm the Thing could hide under a trench coat,
Or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
there you go.
He knows the sewers.
Yeah, that's true. I
Yeah.
could have met them. Anyway, there are several other Doctor Who stories that feature the Daleks and the humans being combined, but in different ways. The evil of the Daleks has humans that are infused with the Dalek factor, and the Daleks infused with the human factor. Revelation of the Daleks, humans being kept in suspended animation, pending the discovery of disease cures and instead converted into Daleks. Dalek, which we've seen, extracts human DNA to regenerate itself and is altered in the process. The parting of the ways. The Daleks in this story are created from humans by the Dalek Emperor. Remember that from season 1?
Yes.
This one's a book, the I Am a Dalek. And then later on, Asylum of the Daleks, which I won't give away too much of. And also in the first Doctor's serial, which is the last appearance of his granddaughter Susan as a companion, the Dalek invasion of Earth, the Daleks are also thwarted by their own human slaves, sort of, the Robomen. And so this is a sort of a recurrence of the Daleks being overturned by their own creation.
No, I thought you meant this is the reestablishment of the Daleks having really stupid-looking henchmen.
We had the second mention of Alonzi as a catchphrase.
Oh, it's only the second?
Yeah.
Allons-y.
Yeah. Did the evolution of the Daleks live up to the promise of the first half, being the Daleks in Manhattan?
I say yes, because I think it had more action, more of the story. I think since we didn't like the first one too much, yeah, this definitely lived up to it, and I think it was a better episode than the first one.
I think both of these episodes definitely were asking the right kind of questions for the Doctor Who universe and science fiction in general. But I don't think either one came up with any satisfactory answers. So I'll say no. This episode was a lot of fun in like the Dalek fighting and seeing the human Dalek hybrid, but I think the first part of this, Daleks in Manhattan, did open up a lot of interesting questions that could have been wrapped up more satisfactorily, even though these two episodes together pretty weak. But yeah, I don't think this could have redeemed it, and it did not. So I'll say no.
Yeah, I'll say no, because I didn't think the human husks turning into Daleks or the hybrids paid off, because they just looked like people. Laszlo's slowly dying didn't pay off. Their romance situation, even though it had a conclusion, didn't pay off. I think there was a few things that were kind of cool in there, like what you were saying about how the Daleks were starting to, like the one shot from the eye stalk. I was kind of bummed that Dalek Sec's character got killed, because I felt it was a very interesting character now, and I wanted to see. I remember when I originally saw this, I was like, oh, we got a new character in the world that we're probably going to revisit again, and then, he gets gone.
Yeah.
I do like Eric Lauren's portrayal of
I
Dalek
do
Sec
like,
rather
yeah.
than
Diagonal.
Yes. Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah, I do. Like, something about the combination of even the prosthetic, the personality in the eye and the personality of his performance. Like, I liked this character and I wanted more. But I just don't think... No.
But I'm going to say that it does, because it's a bad part 2 to a bad part 1. So it does continue what happened in the first part. This is a second part that creates one bad story.
So that's 2 yeses and 2 nos. So
Break the tie,
Break the
Eugene.
tie, Eugene.
Yes.
Okay.
Real quick, I mentioned this last time, but Martha has worn the same thing for the longest time, I think. This is clearly the one where she is going the longest with that jacket.
Yeah. I wonder if it's like what we've been talking about. It's like a cartoon for kids, like, Scooby-Doo clothes.
They're using the costuming of that one outfit to show
It's the
that there's
same.
She's still an outsider.
the one quick trip that he's taking her on.
Yeah,
I'll buy that.
she's not a full-time companion yet.
In the doctor's
she is.
In the doctor's eyes.
Yeah, she is for the viewers.
To our eyes, yes.
But she's not to the doctor.
So that is 5 episodes that she has been wearing the same wardrobe.
Does she wear this in Smith and Jones?
Hmm. At the very end, at the party. This is what
At
she
the
wears.
Party. That's right. She's wearing this at the party. You're right.
So you've heard our thoughts. Let us know what you think. In the first part of this two-parter, Tallulah sang a song titled The Devil in Me. Do you think that this whole story, the devil is the Daleks in the humans, or is it the humanity in the Daleks? Let us know what you think. Email us at whoknewpodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening. We will see you all next time when the future becomes the present.
You've just listened to an episode of Who Knew?
Our wonderful theme music is by Michael Grady.
Find him on Facebook.
At The Universe Explodes.
All our episodes are engineered by our very own Auburn.
Find me at auburnbinkley.com.
You can find this show in several places.
Follow us on Twitter at Who Knew Podcasts.
Subscribe, review, and listen to us on iTunes and Stitcher.
Or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Who Knew Podcast.
All our episodes are on whoknewpodcast.com.
You can leave comments there or email us at
whoknewpodcast@gmail.com.
This podcast is inspired by Doctor Who.
The longest-running sci-fi show in history.
And especially the revival spearheaded by Russell T. Davis.
thanks to Russell,
Sydney Newman.
Verity Lambert.
Ron Grainer.
And all those involved in the adventures of our favorite Time Lord.
Your work continues to inspire and entertain.
Play it in my head.
If that makes you sleep better at night, who might argue?
You have fun with that.
So I'll do that. So when we talk about it, I'll refer to it as if all the good stuff happened. Was it you or you? One of you just suggested that.
I have a name.
Yuchi. Oh wait. Okay. Ready.